start the show with the news today. SEC schedules released moving forward. Guys, do y'all have any initial takes right off the bat like mine right here? Everybody finna die. Everybody finna die. Like, everybody is about to have one of the toughest schedules you've ever imagined in your life. We obviously knew this was going to come towards the SEC opponents or member schools when they went to 9, made the decision to go to 9. Guys, last year, I went back and looked at the numbers today. Last year, at the end of the regular season, so not including playoffs, not including conference championship games, not including bowl season, the SEC had 11 of the 12 hardest schedules in the sport, and all 16 member schools were within the top 32 of the sport with regards to strength of schedule. And that was with an 8-game schedule. As we go to 9, presumably they will be all 16 of the top 17 schedules, with room for Ohio State, who seems to be out of conference scheduling like madmen, while also simultaneously getting a relatively tough shake of the Big Ten. That was my other takeaway, boys, is that, yes, I have been preaching from the hilltops about, obviously the top of the Big Ten is really, really good, right? The top 6 programs in the Big Ten are great football programs, worthy of national championship contention every once in a while, some of them annually, right? We know that. My problem with the Big Ten is teams 7 through 18 now, 7 through 18, who aren't really high quality, high caliber football teams. And we can see this in the strength of schedule numbers, right? Last year in the Big Ten, the highest ranked strength of schedule was Ohio State, I believe at 9 at the end of the regular season. And at the bottom of it, it was 69. I just told you this. Nice. I just told you this, right? 1 through 32 in the SEC. We're talking about 9 through 69 in the Big Ten. All right, and it's only going to get worse, the disparity between the SEC and the Big Ten now that we are going to 9. It's always been my argument with this, and you're going to have people say, "Oh, watch the SEC eat itself alive." No shit. There's a whole lot better football teams in this conference, 1 through 16. It's obvious. Well, that was my primary takeaway today.
And I'll reiterate the take that I initially gave when they announced that the SEC was going to 9 is I think that Big Ten fans felt like it was a moment for them to laugh at the SEC because they felt like they forced the SEC to do this. And while some of that might be true, the SEC did this in a time in which the College Football Playoff Committee announced that they were also going to be changing the way that they look at the strength of schedule. So knowing what you just said about the strength of schedule and where SEC teams ranked last year compared to Big Ten teams, the fact that the SEC is going to 9 and the schedules are only going to get even more difficult, it only opens the door for more SEC teams to get into the playoff.
It wasn't even, lopsided's not even a good term with regards to strength of schedule and how much tougher it was even under an 8-game schedule. I don't even know what the new word to use for lopsided will be when we ultimately have the data of 9-game schedules. I mean, it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, the phrase "and it's not even close" is pretty overused. The SEC schedule was a lot harder than the Big Ten's.
At 8,
it's not even close.
At 9, it's going to be way further than it's not even close. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, you're right.
You could have made some form of an argument because the SEC was at 8 and the Big Ten was at 9. Now that they're both at 9, it's not even close. You have absolutely no argument, Big Ten. The SEC is much harder.
Which obviously leads us to my next takeaway. With these strength of schedules, with these difficulties of schedules, like, you can just bye-bye undefeated seasons. Like, I don't think it's ever going to happen again. If it does, if you go undefeated in the SEC, or really, if you go undefeated in the SEC, I was going to say college football period now, which, if you go undefeated and win a national title, I don't care where you come out of, what conference you come out of. If you survive, you're probably one of the best teams of all time. But if you do it out of the SEC, undoubtedly, you are the best college football team of all time.
And I think that what you kind of got at initially was, I think that's the best and biggest takeaway for me is, we coming into these past 2 years for as far as the schedule goes, because it was just the same opponents and it's flip-flopped, and the fact that they came out that summer leading up into the 2024 season, it felt like the SEC was able to project team schedules and how difficult they were going to be. And so when then Texas and Missouri get the schedules that they get, it's almost like, well, the SEC gave them that schedule to almost like gift them a playoff spot if everything goes right for them. Whereas now, I don't care who you are. I don't care who's on your schedule. Like, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard no matter who you are. Like, I think that's the best thing about this is there really is no more complaining about, well, this team got an easy schedule this year. Like, it's 9 SEC games. You're bound to have multiple difficult games on this slate. And so I think that really evens the path. Now, of course, like, some teams are going to end up being worse than what you thought in the offseason. So, like, some of these schedules are going to level out a little bit and they are going to end up being easier than what you thought. But from a, outsider's perspective right now, looking at the 2027 schedule, like everybody's schedule is going to be difficult.
Yeah, there's no denying that, and I think that you're right about the undefeated teams. It's a tradition, not even a tradition, but it's something that's not going to happen anymore just because of how difficult the schedule is, how much the conference has gotten better. You know, the punching bags that have typically been at the bottom of the conference are getting better now. Mississippi State's not a complete joke this year. Vanderbilt's got a pulse, and on top of that, you added 2 competitive teams.
And Kirby, I feel like they're cycling, right? Like it feels like Kentucky's the bottom of the conference.
Yep.
Last year it was Mississippi State, right? And then you flip 1 year later and it's just Kentucky, and now everyone feels like they can get you any Sunday or any Saturday. That's the interesting thing to me. The other thing, looking at these schedules and the difficulties of them, I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that we're moving to 16. I don't think Greg Sankey's going to allow it not to be done. The reason being, he wants 4 guaranteed spots, which means you have to be in the top 25% to make a college football playoff guaranteed. I think once we go to 16, you'll probably see about 5 to 6, maybe sometimes 7 SEC teams getting into a college football playoff, and however many, maybe 5, 6 Big Ten football teams.
Yeah, I mean, you thought the 14 playoff was the SEC Invitational because they sometimes got 2 teams in there. That's a joke now. They're going to get half of the playoff bracket is going to be filled with SEC teams.
Here's my question of, they chose to do this for 4 years. Like that was the timeline that they said of, here's your permanent opponents. These are going to be set for the next 4 years. They will then be reviewed after 4 years. And they went ahead and told you, like, this is your schedule from 2026 all the way through 2029. Do you think that provides like a safety net of, maybe this is how college football will be at least for the next 4 years? Now, the playoff can change and all of that can happen, but as far as like what college football is, of the SEC still exists, the Big Ten still exists, all these other things still exist. Like, do you think that provides any sort of safety net or like peace of mind?
I never even thought about it that way.
That's just an idea I had right now, like thinking about it.
Well, I guess it means they're not going to 18 anytime soon.
You would think not.
I think that, in terms of conference expansion, I think it means we're at least for 4 years maybe settled on these.
Yeah.
It's a tight 16. Thank God.
I would like to hope so, but at the same point,
When does that, sorry to cut you off, when is Clemson and FSU projected to start fighting their way out of that ACC deal? Isn't that like 2030?
I mean,
I don't know the timelines on
I heard
this.
they were trying to
I'm
fight
trying to see
sooner.
if they have timed themselves out of the FSU and Clemson sweepstakes whenever those 2 goofies want to decide to get out of the ACC.
Leave the conference in 2031.
So there you go.
but I mean,
Keep it in stone until those 2 become free agents, and then y'all decide whether or not who they absorb, and then we go to a super league. Boom. There it is. There's the next 7 years of college football. Play it down for you right here on the show. My other takeaway on this is like, look, I hate it for the traditionalists that like a Georgia Tennessee gets removed. I think Alabama LSU annually got removed here. Like that is criminal to me, and that hurts my heart. There's no doubt about that. But I think it is cool about this conference, in particular these fanatical fan bases. I know that's repetitive, but it's not guaranteed in college football. You're not guaranteed to have a ravenous, fanatical college football fan base. All right, down here it seems like a given, but not everywhere it is. What I have learned about these fan bases, guys, is when they play tight games annually, they find new hatred. They find brand new hatred, and it is sometimes just as, maybe not historically as gut-wrenching hatred, but I guarantee you Auburn folks hate Oklahoma fans right about now, and I guarantee you Oklahoma hates Auburn fans right about now. And I know for a fact, because we have them show up in our chat all the time, Texas and Georgia fans don't like each other. They've been battling for 2 years. They don't like each other. So like these new types of hatreds pop up every single year, and I think it's because we get good games, and now we're going to get more of those.
Yeah, and those obviously are just 2 examples, and we're still in a very small sample size of all this. I mean, we're a year and a quarter of being into this new expanded SEC, and we already know that about Georgia and Texas because they played twice in the same season last year, and they cross over on the recruiting trail so much. Like they had some big serious battles in that during the offseason. So Oklahoma and Auburn got added to this because of the matchup that happened this past weekend. That's now 2 matchups that we've seen for them. So I am interested to see like what the SEC looks like as far as hatred in these fan bases mingling with one another at the end of this year, because I do think you'll see more and more of these happening.
Yeah, I do think it's going to make the 3 constant hate each other more. I think that you'll probably see more hate for the other teams like we talked about, were between the Oklahomas and the Auburns and the teams that weren't traditionally rivalries before. But I also don't know if it's going to ever crescendo to the level that we saw between the Alabamas and LSUs or the Floridas and LSUs of these annual rivalries, because yeah, it's great that Oklahoma and Auburn don't like each other right now. They've played back-to-back years, but at some point they're not going to play each other, and it's going to be one of these things where we're consistently cycling these rivalry games.
You don't think Auburn and Oklahoma fans will remember? It's 2 years. You play them. You're going to play them again.
Yeah, no, it'll definitely be a thing, but I don't know if it's ever going to reach the level of Alabama, LSU type hatred, Georgia, Tennessee type hatred.
Yeah.
I think at that point it gets down to the fact of how long is this going to be intact? Like, how long are these teams going to be playing one another that frequently? Like, that all has to do, I think, more with what the direction of college football goes to. Of like, if you do go to a Super League, then yeah, you're going to lose that, because then you're entering a whole nother realm of college football.
Aren't these rivalries, at least historically, they've been because we play each other every year? But that's because of regionalism, right? There's a year-to-year basis where either set in stone because of divisional rivalries or whatever regional thing made those teams play each other every year. We still have that with the Regional 3, which they made those tie in. And, like, you're always going to hate Alabama when you play them. You're Georgia.
Sure. Yeah.
You're always going to hate LSU when you play them. You're Alabama. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that stuff leaves us.
No, definitely.
You know? All right. We good on the schedule talk?
Yeah.
I think so.
I hate that we had to do that in the middle of college football season, but they made us do it. All right. So let's get into an actual show. Make sure you're in that thumbs up button, like, subscribing, rate, reviewing, all that good stuff. We got an absolutely slam-packed news laden show, actually. Hey, we'll take a quick minute to give a shout out to our friends over at Sleeper. What a great time to be here on this network this year, but also a great time to be with our friends over at Sleeper. Go over to Sleeper today, the #1 place for daily fantasy and prop plays. Sleeper Picks is a real money product that connects friends over picks. Choose 2 to 8 of your favorite players from pregame, live, or even across different sports. Pick more than or less than the predicted stats. It's that simple. On Sleeper, you can get up to 100x payouts. Share with your friends and get rewarded today. Use promo code Brooks, as you see on the screen, on Sleeper and get 100% deposit match up to $100. Again, that's sleeper.com/promo/Brooks. Terms and conditions apply. Boys, as you know, we're about 28 minutes at the time of this ad read from the kickoff of NFL Sunday. So go ahead, run over to Sleeper right now. I'll give you permission to leave the stream actively. Go over to Sleeper, get a play in right quick, and get paid. We appreciate those folks over there at Sleeper. Again, that's promo code Brooks over there on Sleeper.